What's up, Nerd Squad, and welcome back to Top 10 Nerd. Superheroes are super awesome, sure, but sometimes even the best make mistakes. Marvel superheroes are really good at messing up, it seems. Like, specifically Marvel. They really screw the pooch, I'll tell you that. So, here to bring you guys 10 big superhero whoopsies, I'm Taylor McWaters. Let's get counting. Kicking off the list at number 10, firing Robin. This is a war, Dick. Robin is my second, my lieutenant. Anything less than total devotion to the cause is simply wasting my time. I'll say it again, you're fired, Dick. Get out of my cave.
Fired. You're fired. You're fired.
Robin, Dick Grayson came back as Nightwing in 1984 after he was fired from the role of Robin. Neat. So Batman had ultimately decided he wasn't fitting for the role. So in Nightwing Year 1, Part 1 of 6, we see this unfold in a rather dramatic way. And as the issue says, one door closes and another one opens. Did Batman go too far? I mean, just take away his phone or something, ground him. Nobody likes getting fired. And before we head over to number 9, guys, we have a huge announcement. We have another channel coming back. The channel that started all of this. That's right, after 3 years of running the show over here, Landon himself is coming back with Landon Productions. And the first video is set to release December 7th. So go write that on your calendars, put some notifications in your phone, whatever you gotta do, because I've seen glimpses of what he's working on and heard some things that he's working on as well, and it sounds like a lot of fun. So you're gonna love it.
Is the Canada Goose gonna take it on?
I'm on top like I'm goddamn Mario, right? I'm just
Not today. Maybe tomorrow. Okay, is this real life right now?
Okay, back to the list. Number 9, addressing the Mandarin. Okay guys, off the bat, I'm gonna say it. Never give out personal information, whether it's online or in person. Just don't do it, doesn't matter. The amount of times my aunts almost get scammed by these fake emails, it's wild. So when it comes to super terrorists, never give away your address to those. That's definitely the top of the list on who to not give your info away to. So in Iron Man 3, we see Tony Stark and he's a little upset. I mean, the Mandarin attacks are responsible for somebody close to him getting hurt, and that somebody being Happy Hogan, who is not so happy at the moment. So Tony Stark decides he's got a few choice words for the man responsible. And in his message to the Mandarin after visiting Happy in the hospital, Tony states how he's not afraid of the Mandarin and he in fact should just die. There's like news crews, people are on their phones, people are shouting World Star and stuff. Like, Tony, I get you're upset, but come on, man, this is going on Reddit, probably. So of course he gets attacked by the Mandarin at his house because, well yeah, what did you expect, my dude? And out of all the suits Tony has access to, I mean the Avengers 1 suit, that's amazing. The suitcase suit, which is still a better choice than the Mark 42. No, this guy gears up with a prototype suit and he gets wrecked. That attack sets up the entire film. Could have easily been avoided if you just didn't give your address out in the first place, Tony Stank. Number 8, Flashpoint. Okay, so in August 2011, fans were treated to the work of Geoff Johns and Andy Kubert in a story that is now being turned into a major motion picture that we're all super excited for. And it's set to release sometime in the next few years. But what is Flashpoint? Why is it a big deal? Well, when Barry Allen decided to use his super speed to change history and save his mother, he accidentally entered a dark alternate future. One where Bruce Wayne never became Batman, but rather he was the one killed that fateful night. And then Wonder Woman's out here just cutting off heads and taking names. Like literally, she's legally taking names with the whole Aquaman wedding of war thing. And Superman is being held captive like a lab rat by the government. It's just all bad. And as soon as he arrives in this dystopian timeline, he can no longer even use the Speed Force. So he meets up with a much different Batman and attempts to recreate the same accident that gave him his powers in the first place, almost dying during the failed attempt. Any plot with altered timelines makes me so stressed out. Like Santa Claus 3, when Jack Frost became Santa instead, and then everybody just sucks all of a sudden. It's like, can we go back please? This is depressing. Number 7, you shouldn't have gone for the head. Avengers Infinity War was 2.5 hours of Thanos just walking through the universe, just taking these Infinity Stones like nobody's business. There's a big climactic battle on Titan, Thanos' home world. And we have most of the Guardians. We have Spider-Man, Stark, and Doctor Strange. Quite the team. Quite the team. So this big plan unfolds and they finally have him. They have the Mad Titan in the perfect spot. He's all stretched out, ready to go. The gauntlet's sliding off. It's literally, it's coming off. And then in comes Quill, all upset because the love of his life got tossed off a cliff. Oh, we get it. Jeez, come on. You're upset, and that's fair, but you clearly know what this dude is able to do. He made your blaster turn into little bubbles, man. This is beyond you. Chris Pratt's acting in this scene is amazing, but this one moment just stuck in our heads on loop for that entire year we had to wait until Endgame. Just wondering what could have been. Instead, we got to rewatch the Avengers get dusted, all because Star-Lord, with the duster, got a little heated. I mean, Spider-Man, would it hurt to, like, I don't know, assess the situation and maybe just shoot one web? Like, you have the aim, we know this. Number 6, Stark and Romanoff hitting it off. So in the Ultimate Marvel Universe, they get a little close, the two of them, right? Closer than the MCU relationship, that's for sure. So Ultimates issue 3 opens with this beautiful shot. And the shot is all of the Ultimates just hanging out in Tony's mansion. And then in the background, there's like a sex tape. That's usually I put on Spotify, but that's fine too, I guess. That's sex tape being Iron Man and Black Widow. So why? What's the deal here? Well, in the Ultimates 2, her and Iron Man dated and then of course got engaged, but it's all a lie. All a lie. She was trying to destroy the Avengers for the fall of the Soviet Union. That is until she's killed by Hawkeye. Jeez, imagine if this is how she went out in Endgame. That scene with her and Hawkeye could have been a little bit different. So after she's dead, the tape gets released. People are selling DVDs on the streets of like this whole thing, and it's just, gross. People are selling DVDs of this on the streets of New York. It's wild. Come on, Stark. She's the best spy ever. You're the smartest guy ever. Figure it out. Number 5, not my problem. Okay, we've had to sit through the sad origin story of Peter Parker's life too many times now, but it never gets old somehow. This one's a classic oopsies that kickstarted Peter Parker's nightmare of a life. So after letting a thug out of his sights, that thug ended up being the one to take his Uncle Ben's life. Oops. So not only of course did Peter feel saddened by this close loss, especially not having parents in the first place, jeez, but he was the one responsible for letting that thug get away. He honestly just let it happen. And in Amazing Fantasy issue 15, we see this all unfold. So after a police officer asks Spider-Man why he let the crook get away in the elevator and make a break for it, Spider-Man responds with, "Sorry pal, that's your job. I'm through being pushed around by anyone. Haha, from now on, I just look out for number 1, and that means me." Number 4, literally anything with Lois Lane. Okay, Superman may be handsome in any version of him, but what's the deal, Lois Lane? Why do you want to date this guy so badly? Aren't you tired of the constant peril you're being put into? I mean, the dude has hurt her physically and mentally like numerous times. He left her in Superman Returns, which, okay, relationships have their problems. Sometimes you need a little space to figure it out, okay? We've all watched Maury. Oh, she was pregnant. Awesome, sick, dude, great role model. Maybe you should just find somebody from another universe, like date somebody who doesn't have to worry about bills. I mean, stop making her life so hard. She's got enough on her plate at work as it is. He also used a fat ray on her and then made fun of her. Fat ray gun. Yeah, we'll never forget. Number 3, I am Spider-Man. Super identities are meant to be secret identities. So if you stuck around until the very end of Spider-Man Far From Home, which you better have if you're watching this video, you were treated to a pretty sweet teaser for Peter's upcoming conflicts. We see J.K. Simmons reprise his role of J. Jonah Jameson as his face is front and center on a news billboard downtown in New York. Now, of course, we were happy to see him back in the Spider-Man universe, but he comes bearing bad news. He ends up showing leaked footage from the final battle with Mysterio, and in the footage we see him shout out Spider-Man by his secret identity. And a nice little photo op to go along with it. Now, this isn't the first time Peter's identity has been revealed to the world. In fact, in the Civil War comic storyline, he actually comes out and says it himself. Just support the Superhero Registration Act, all that jazz. Okay, fair. I guess that's fair. What's the worst that could happen, anywho? That's inspiring, kind of. I mean, this wasn't the best plan. I mean, now J. Jonah Jameson knows he's been paying Spider-Man, and then what comes next shouldn't surprise anyone.
You're fired.
Number 2, Batman's love life. Okay, you're rich, you're good looking, you can fight anybody, you got all the gadgets and gizmos, yet you still suck at picking girls, Bruce, come on. So in Batman Son of the Demon, Ra's al Ghul, the leader of the League of Assassins, is like, you know what? You should totally date my daughter. Yeah, no, you guys would hit it off, definitely. Bruce, you're a Pisces. It just makes sense, do it. So the two decide to go at it, and then of course, a baby comes along. A baby. That baby being Damien, which is just the start of a very stressful path. I mean, the poor kid grows up with parents who have very different goals and aspirations when it comes to living life. Like some days they're mortal enemies, some days they're not. That's what you need. You know what? You need Tinder, Batman. That's why you need Tinder. They do the filtering for you. Just type in your preferences, Must love parents. Boom. Must love hang gliding. Boom. Must be super into roleplay. Like, super into roleplay. Tinker, tailor, soldier, mad scientist. Ultron can't see the difference between saving the world and destroying it. Where do you think he gets that? That line is said by Wanda Maximoff in Avengers Age of Ultron. This movie was a lesson in what not to do with multi-million dollars of high tech and space stones we don't really understand yet. So Tony has created some amazing stuff. I mean, all of his suits, his innovative tech, barf, like that's awesome, there we go. He's a genius and he has the ability to eliminate so many phone bills around the world. But what if he created a supervillain, you know, just for fun? You know, just for backup. We find Tony and Bruce, that's right Banner, you're in this shit too, working on Ultron, or just the idea of it rather. See, Tony had this thought since Avengers 1 that he could create a suit of armor around the world. A robot that essentially kicks ass. Something that takes care of threats while the Avengers soak up the sun or learn how to make paprikash. Now of course, one of the main elements helping them achieve this goal is the return of Loki's scepter. They think by studying the central power unit of the scepter, which ends up being the Mind Stone, they can finally solve the puzzle. What does it look like it's doing? Tony asks. Like it's thinking, says Banner. Okay, pause. Like it's thinking. We all just said that. The smartest guy on Earth just said that. Okay, that's fishy. Better at least run this idea by Thor. No? We're just gonna do it anyways? Alright, we'll wing it. Feels like he would just caution against this. Like I feel like it would have just not happened. Thor would have been like, yeah, no, don't. You don't want to be part of that shit. Tony ends up accidentally infusing consciousness from the Mind Stone into an evil, jealous killer robot. That actually mirrors a lot of Tony's past. So Ultron immediately starts to learn about what he is and who the Avengers are, and he's not a fan. It doesn't take long to come to the conclusion that the Avengers just suck. By the end of the movie, we have a horribly damaged Sokovia with roughly 177 deaths and a massive new hole. This is big foundation for the world's largest in-ground pool. There you go. We love billionaires. But one of those deaths ended up being Charles Spencer, a young American engineer bystander who was killed in the battle. Charles' mother ends up confronting Stark in Captain America Civil War, and then that leads to even more bad choices by Tony. Your curiosity literally killed the cat. I mean, probably. There's probably a lot of cats in Sokovia. Everybody has cats. Guys, thanks so much for tuning in with us today. Please drop a comment down below which other mistakes superheroes have made that we all love and love thinking about and going, ooh, I'm so happy that wasn't me. So with more movies on the way, I'm sure there's gonna be plenty more of these videos to go around. I'm Taylor McWater. Stay safe. We'll catch you next time.